Go for it.
Let's start this one.
It's going. It's streaming.
You can start whenever you want. You can just delete it.
Oh, welcome to SoCal Sports Report's 102nd podcast. I am John Stellman, along with John Adams and Corey Wojo.
There we go.
We've got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to start off with a lot of basketball, a lot of Lakers, a lot of Kobe. It's been the biggest story around for a while, and it will continue to be the biggest story around. The ceremonies at Staples last night I thought they were tremendous. I watched them. I was very impressed with Vanessa. Vanessa handled herself with class, dignity. It was difficult thing for her to do. I don't know, many people could have done that, but she did it magnificently, and I think she let a lot of insight into Kobe, the family man, the husband, the father, the little things that they did together, he and Gigi, and she gave us a lot of stories that people aren't going to know about Kobe if it hadn't been for that, because all you hear about concerning Kobe, of course, is his time on the court, but he was very much a family man, very daughters oriented, wife oriented. She had one funny comment. I guess the year he retired, he was an hour and a half late picking the kids up from school, which was one of his only duties, I guess. But it was a very good interview, and she held up well, and she made some good points. I thought Rob Pelinka was excellent. He talked more about Kobe as a friend, and the connection they've had for 20 years, being not only his manager, but the general manager, vice president of basketball operations for the Lakers. But they were very tight. In fact, Kobe's last text was sent to Rob Pelinka when he was on the craft, on the helicopter, asking him, Rob, if he could set up some kind of internship for one of the Altobelli's daughters, the one that did survive. And it just goes to show you that Kobe was all about everybody else, whatever he could do to enrich somebody and move them forward. And of course, Pelinka said, I'll be glad to do that. It's in motion. I'll do whatever I have to do. And I also thought Michael Jordan was tremendous. Tearful Michael Jordan, and I don't think he does these things. Might have been his first, but he gave us some real insight into the friendship. Kobe texting him at 2 o'clock in the morning, wanting to know how he handles the triangle offense and this and that and the other thing, and some pointers on coaching his girls. All in all, it was a great evening. I thought those three were the highlights. I know John and Corey have some observations. John, what were your lasting impressions?
Well, I thought it was put together really well. I thought the Lakers did a great job, or I don't know if it's the city of Los Angeles. I don't know who's in charge there to put that whole thing together, but it sounds like they didn't make an impulse reaction and just say, hey, we got to put this thing up on a week later or whatever. They thought about what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. It gave time for the Bryants to have their own little memorial for the family, which allowed them to more or less put a production together for him. I thought it was more, like you said, about family love, friendship than it was about basketball. I thought basketball was very secondary to this whole deal, and it was just, I thought, again, Vanessa was that was not easy to do. I thought she did a hell of a job. I think they had the right amount of speakers. It didn't linger on. They had the right people talking. I thought. So overall, I just thought it was it was a very emotional, well put together production. And I did hear a little rumor the other day that there was a rose for every single point he scored in the area. So
3,300
something crazy, yeah. So that's pretty much my whole 2 cents. I thought it was, and boy, the way it was star-studded. That was the other thing. They had players and representatives from a lot of teams that flew in for the day in the morning to do this and then go back to their games at night. So I thought it was really cool too. And I'll finish with this, Corey, is I thought it was great to really express for Kobe what he has done and what he wanted to do for women's basketball. It was a side that not a lot of people knew about, right? They knew that he was into his daughters, getting into his daughters' coaching and calling people and trying to ask questions about, practices and stuff like that. But it was a side that he started to show and put effort and a lot of momentum into, equality and women, and I guarantee you by the time Gigi possibly would have got through college and into the pros, that those girls would have been making way more money than they make today because of his input.
Right. I mean, he was doing great things for bringing women's basketball into the spotlight. Right. It's always been an afterthought. I thought Shaq did an awesome job. Right. I mean, that guy. He acted. I mean, he gave a speech like a big brother would give a speech. Right. Just off the cuff and telling stories that people never would have heard. Just how Kobe is so competitive and how he never let up, but how they would horse around all the time. So
yeah, and Jordan probably gave the emotional side.
Right.
He and Shaq gave the funnier side of it, and I think Jordan gave the emotional side of it, of the big brother type of deal.
Yep.
And I totally agree. I thought it was great how you had the diversity there of those two guys.
Good balance.
I thought it was absolutely better orchestrated than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. It was first class. How do you get that many superstar people in one, during that day, at that time, on a game day or day
all the
off,
security you got to deal with.
Everything you have to deal with to get that many people there, right? And
by the way, there by 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they shut down the streets. I mean, it was very well orchestrated. You didn't hear any negatives whatsoever about the event. Right.
And they did it. I thought that the ticket people, I don't know if that was done by the Lakers or what, but it was a situation where when you bought a ticket, there's no way you could resell that ticket.
No.
None at all. It's like that's your ticket. It's connected to your ID, and you're the one going.
Right.
You could not buy it for anybody else. You had to buy it yourself. And what, they had 20,000? I think 20.
It's 18,000, whatever. That's And then they didn't have the crowds outside. I mean, they did it. Yeah, they did it first class. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it was a great tribute. And again, the thing I liked, we all know what Kobe's accomplished on the court. I mean, that's been well documented. Hall of Famer, no doubt. But to get all the insight, like from Vanessa on family and what he meant to the girls and to her, and then like you guys said, Pelinka, the friendship, and Pelinka's the godfather to his daughter.
He seemed like he was just, obviously he was very talented and very rich and powerful, but he seemed like just one of the guys, right? And the guy that would go and do something for you, ask him to, refer you to someone, or you ask him to help. There was a story that was going around about competitors that would, like Celtics or whoever, guys that would ask him about, hey, how do you handle this? And he would take the time to work out with them. Mm-hmm. Right, and lead him through something. He would set the standards, like, you are not going to waste my time, right? If we're going to do this, we're going to do this right, and the guys would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was very well put together, very well.
Yeah. It's a fitting ending for to put a cap on. He's never going to be forgotten. I'm sure there's going to be something that the NBA is going to do that to create a legacy. Maybe it's an award named after him, or maybe it's the logo, maybe it's whatever.
Well, they did the All-Star Game MVP is after him, so that was really cool, because I think he won it 8 times or something like that. So,
but like you said, there were people from everywhere that came in just for the ceremony. I think that was a tremendous, tribute to.
And then again, you had 2 superstars, one in the WNBA and one in college basketball, which is one of the best basketball players ever to come out of college, that spoke. So and then you got Gino that goes in and speaks, right? And I thought there was a great little deal where Kobe took her to Connecticut to see, the whole process and what it's all about, and she fell in love with that so much that when she was actually getting, some tips from the girl from Oregon, right, she said, why don't you come in here and take a picture? And she's like, nope, I'm good. She didn't want to take a picture with the Oregon players because she was all about going to Connecticut. Like, she was just like if she wasn't a very good player, let's just say she didn't turn out to be which probably wasn't going to happen, but she wasn't going to turn out to be the player. Gino would probably still have to take her, right? But it was so it was like it was great. So I mean, and that's what Gino went up and said. He goes, "I'm not here to talk about basketballs and X's and O's. We're talking about friendship and family, and he goes, we've got some great women here in this building, and it was great. It was good for women's basketball, and I hope that maybe somebody can take these
up
reins
the torch and run with it
and keep going with it,
Yeah.
right? And what they call a dad mom, right? Or what do they call a dad
Girl dad.
girl dad, right?
Yeah.
And take this and continue and with his legacy and take this into the right down the right avenue to kind of build on this. And who's that going to be? Maybe it happened yesterday or yesterday.
You never know, right?
You never know. Maybe one of those guys in there that's a superstar that like a Dwayne Wade. I don't know if he's got a daughter or somebody like that.
He does now.
That's a whole different topic. Yeah.
Is to go and maybe take the torch. I don't know.
I know, she I think it was pointed out too. She wrote a paper in high school documenting the difference in salary between the WNBA and the NBA, and starting her
the equality
her pitch for equality.
Right. Yeah,
which it's smart cookie.
Yeah,
that's that was just so sad. Let's talk about the game a week ago, Sunday, with Celtics Lakers, which was a typical Laker Celtic classic.
It was a barn burner. Man.
It was a classic. I thought the class act there too was Bill Russell was at that game wearing the Kobe number 8, I think. Did he have
24? We had 24 on.
Yeah, the 24.
Yeah, I thought that was classic. But that was a great game. I don't know. Kimbo Walker wasn't there, so you don't know if that would have made a difference or not. But they've got to win those games.
Right, exactly.
They've got to win those games.
And the only thing, I didn't watch the game, but one thing that I do know is, it's a big win coming out of, and I wonder what Walker would be like if he was there, because they blew him out of the building in Boston, right? It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
It was over early, and they kept putting the gas down. So is Walker that, because they only won by 2 and it was really close at the very end, right? So is Walker that guy that would actually take it up to where they would have lost that game? I don't know. I'm really going to take a step back and say, I think Walker is the decision that would probably got the Celtics on the win side there. But again, great confidence builder, good win because you're going against a tough Boston team. But I didn't see the game, but that's just kind of my 2 cents.
I'll tell you what, though, Tatum sure did step it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
And LeBron expressed himself about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they exposed the Lakers there's a weakness there, right? It's a guy on the wing that can fill it up, and Tatum did. He went for 41.
41.
Absolute superstar. So I'm not sure. I mean, does it change if
because Walker, they traded. They went after and got Walker for a reason, right?
Right.
So, I still, look at the Lakers playing well is great for NBA basketball.
Exactly.
I still, and having a Celtics Lakers, game going down to the last shot, great for basketball. But I still don't think the Lakers have the depth to do really anything in the playoff. A good point was made by my buddy. He goes, I wouldn't want to play the Pelicans right now. I really wouldn't. I don't think the Lakers. The way the Pelicans are playing right now, if they're in that 8 spot and the Lakers in the 1 spot,
yeah, that's
I don't.
I don't. By the way, they're playing tonight.
Playing tonight.
Yeah, Pelicans Lakers play tonight.
Yeah. And I just, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a great game.
How it goes, right? So, but segueing into it, I don't know if you have anything else to say about the Celtics game. The Morris pickup is really good.
Yep.
And I don't know if you want to segue into
that's
that,
fine.
but
yeah, that's good.
But he's going to get to play next to his brother, But I think that is a pickup that was well needed, and I thought Pelinka did a great job there getting him. So
11 points. 11 points a game. I'm not sure what the rebounds. 5 or 6 rebounds a game over his career, and he's only played. He only plays 21, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
11 points in 20 minutes is pretty good.
They're going to have a great second squad, basically, right? They're going to be 10 deep.
I think one of the big things people don't realize what this is going to mean for Kyle Kuzma. He's going to go to.
It's a great point because Morris actually he averages about 40% from three, right? And that's from 89 attempts so far this year. But AD is about 30%, and Kuzma is only about 26% from three. But Kuzma, if you push him into the corner, if he's going to play the three-man, he's got a higher percentage of shooting three than he does out in front, right?
Exactly.
It's also going to help the Lakers on defensively because Morris can play the bigger four, right? And be able to use his body size more, where Kuzma was getting beat up, right? So when Kuzma goes and plays the three, he can handle that size of a guy. But when he goes down below and has to take on the four, he gets pushed around, and he's very vulnerable, right? So I think that is what Morris is going to do for the team and help with depth, right?
Right.
So if you can put Kuzma in that three and then put Morris in that four, and then actually that will actually help. Now you got another good three-point shooter on the floor, and that allows LeBron to do the pick and roll and pass the ball a little bit more and have that. If I can get Kuzma in the corner, I can get Morris out below, out in front. I got guys that actually can hit the three. Nobody has to really be focused on me. I can dish it anyway. AD can shoot the ball out there too. So I just think it's great for the depth,
right? It opens up the middle.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You got guys on the wings that can fill it up. You have to defend those guys, right? Well, then you do a give and go. I mean, or you just have LeBron that has a chance to drive the lane as well. So
yeah, exactly. But he's gonna be able to see the court and have more guys that he's feel confident. He doesn't. I don't know. Obviously, he doesn't feel confident with Kuzma, and that's what Kuzma needs. Kuzma needs more confidence, right? And by maybe having him shoot the ball more from the corner than out here, it's going to help him help them. And then, but I think the big thing is what I read about today is Morris actually being able to push guys around a little bit more down below.
Yeah, he's a little more physical.
Yeah, like his brother, right? So. They're twins, I think, right?
They are.
Yeah.
They're twins. So. They're going to buy a house together. But, yeah.
I know a realtor.
Just have, but, like you said, in addition to his presence, Morris's presence, it'll be interesting to see how Kuzma's production, if it moves up considerably, gets more consistent at a higher... I think it's really going to help him. Like I say, on the defensive end, he won't have to work as hard. He's going to have a better shot at the threes. I think it's going to work out for both of them really well. I think it was a good pickup. And I think, like I wrote in here, I think they'll re-sign Cousins in the offseason.
Yeah.
If they needed a spot.
Wait, I don't think he's that expensive.
No.
And if he tries to fight you on
he's
price,
get a
you just
veteran
go let it
exemption, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be that vet.
Right. Exactly, and just go rest, and if he comes back and says, "I want this," you can go, "Okay, go get that from somebody else."
Right.
Like you say, "Here's my number if you want to."
So the big winner in this whole thing is the NBA, right? NBA is relevant again on the coasts, both coasts, and I mean they've got great teams, they got great matchups now. It's just a really good story, especially with Zion Williamson. Coming and doing a great job as a rookie. I mean, he's killing it.
In a short amount, only a month, right?
Only a month, and he's averaging like 29 points.
That other guy's going to be the rookie of the year.
Well, and he deserves it, right? The kid from Memphis, right? But
That's
again,
a good team.
You're right. It's 29 points. He's averaging 29, and I want to say 26 of it's from the paint.
Right.
He just moves people around.
He's had 5 3-pointers since he came back, right?
Yeah.
4 in the first game.
Yeah,
so.
you should see his shot stats are just all in the red. And
he's just a beast inside, right?
Yeah.
He's
Well,
quick.
his legs are this big.
Right.
I mean, he just moves them. And that's what a lot of people are like, oh, he can jump. Well, he can move people
Right.
away, too. I mean, he's very wide.
He's able
right?
to push him around a little bit.
It's not a bad team when you throw Ingram in there as well, and
Yeah.
Lonzo, if he ever could stay on the
that's
floor.
sort of a trade that worked out for both parties.
Both
right
teams.
there, right?
Yeah, both teams.
And you get the
Pelicans
kid
are
from the
relevant.
Lakers, actually, if
Josh Howard, Josh.
no, the kid from the Clippers, actually, that went over there, the shooter, I don't think of it. Never mind.
Reddick.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
But like I said, I
For
think
minor leaguer.
I do think that Cousins has made his presence felt in the locker room. He's very been well received. They like him. I think they'll bring him back. Gosh, he's only 28, 29?
Yeah, he
God,
looks like
feels
he's 40,
like
though.
Yeah, feels like he's like
Jeez.
But-
Or his body feels like it's 50. So,
So we'll see how that all plays out. There were, there were some rumors. I don't know how true this is. John may not be agreeable here that LeBron might be willing to take lesser money after the 2021 season to bring in the Freak from Milwaukee.
I'm all for it, right? And that would be an absolute all-star team. I mean, it's crazy, but and believe me, he can afford to take less money, right? But I'm just one of those guys that I'll believe it when I see it, and I don't know what they're going to have to do in shuffling and where that puts him on
salary cap
and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, that would be absolutely stupid. Right, but again, how many more years? I mean, so you bring on the Freak, so you have AD and the Freak for.
Well, you got the AD and the Freak going forward, right?
Because
LeBron's got a couple more years.
Right, that's
left.
what I'm saying. You only got, and that's why he'll probably take less money.
Maybe his last year,
so it's
probably.
his last year or last 2 years,
He can like 2 or 3 rings.
right,
Take it.
Yeah, exactly. You got your production company. You've already, you probably. I don't know how much money do you have to make? Right, they have millions. Right.
How much fun would that be to see the Lakers fully loaded? You got Golden State with their guys, their injuries coming back fully loaded. You got the Clippers fully loaded.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Be fun in the West.
That would be a heavyweight
wild,
title
wild
match
West.
every single game.
Yeah. Dallas will want to go to the Central.
Right.
Yeah.
Bron did take less money in Miami. They all did, so they could sign Bosch and Wade for that three-headed monster. So he has done it, and he's at the point of his career where I think, like you say, how much do you need? I think he wants another ring.
Well, I think he wants to get that 6. I mean, he needs to get 6 rings, right? So he's up with the greatest ever.
Right.
Right now, it's still Kobe's team, right? It's still Kobe's city. Even though Kobe's gone, it's still Kobe's team and Kobe's city.
And I don't think LeBron would ever say this is my city.
No.
I don't think he'd ever
No.
do it. Right?
But you know what he'd like to do?
Cleveland's his city, right? And that's
Yeah.
where he grew up, and that's where
He'd like
he'll
to
be.
do one of these,
Right? No, exactly. No, they all do, right? That's why those guys are always the best, is
Right.
because they know that I got to get that extra one, right? So
Right.
that's where
Kobe
we've seen-
always wanted an extra one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. They all do. They all if they
Right.
feel like they're healthy enough to do it. They just don't sign up for mediocrity. It's just like,
right.
nobody remembers second place, right? So I think, I'm at the end of my contract, and you know what? I got to give a couple $1 million away or whatever it is to be able to have a sincere chance, because who's on the East other than Boston that can really give them a run for their money?
Toronto.
Right? Well, they're not, the depth. I mean, you put those 3 guys on and Kuzma.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
the NBA Finals is going to be the Western, or
how it used to be for football, right? NFC Championship game used to be the Super Bowl. Then the Super Bowl was a dud compared to that.
right.
Right.
So like, I could see that the Western Conference Championship is going to be the NBA Finals.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Heck, that whole playoff would be.
Yeah, that's
You get
'Cause
the Clippers. You get
that's a 7-game series, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because LeBron's not, LeBron can't, he's not going to be able to be the guy. I mean, he's already.
And I don't think he
slipping a
wants.
little bit.
He has no problem sharing it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, this would
I
even
think
be-
this is the whole deal to say, hey, AD,
Make it easier.
The Greek freak with AD and him would be just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be. I mean, can the NBA? The NBA can't veto that, can they?
They can't veto it, but they can just control it with the salary cap. So
Salary
that's
cap's
where
the
they
only
have to
thing to
be creative and get the LeBron's going to have to forgive some salary to get everybody under the tent, so to speak.
That would be. What was I going to say? Oh, but the thing too that we have to hope that Milwaukee doesn't turn around and win a couple of championships between now and then, because he'll
let's
stay.
just look at the overall picture, right? What kind of like big time commercial business are you going to get out of Milwaukee?
Well, that's true.
You get the Los
Plus, you
Angeles.
drink beer.
Right, exactly, and cheese, right?
Right.
So there's just so much more for his personal persona to build his image and his brand in Los Angeles
Right.
than it is in Milwaukee.
And that guy's so full of personality, man. That
Yeah.
guy, he is so funny. You see some of the Instagram posts with those guys.
And isn't his brother on the team?
Yeah,
Yeah, Lakers.
he's on the G.
Yeah.
They signed him in the G League.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
good move.
That would be
we'll throw him a bone.
Yeah.
that would be sweet. While we're on basketball and the Lakers, Vanessa Williams signed a wrongful death lawsuit today against Inland Express Helicopters, Inc., the owner, which is Inland Express Holding Corporation, and the pilot, Kobe's buddy. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit, negligence, failure to properly access the weather, flying into conditions he wasn't cleared for, and failing to control the helicopter.
So let me ask you a question here. Not a legal expert. How do you file against somebody that's dead?
Against the estate, maybe. I don't know.
He's a helicopter driver. I mean,
I don't know, but so I've been thinking about this. Why would she do it? She's already got more money than God, right?
Right.
She's
Exactly.
But maybe it's to take care of the other families that didn't have the name.
and she already has that .org going,
Right.
So,
But the other thing is maybe it's to somehow get some legislation going about the requirements, the minimum requirements for helicopter safety or for travel safety or something like that. I mean, that Sikorsky helicopter didn't have a black box. It didn't have you couldn't fly by instrument. So maybe it's to update this entire
Awareness.
industry,
yeah.
right? That, hey, people, you need to, before you get on this thing, this helicopter or any vehicle, you should make sure that it has all the instrumentation that it should have, or should have, all these safety features.
Well, I know Russell Wilson came on the Dan Patrick show and he goes, never doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, I used to fly those things all the time.
Really?
And he goes, I used to be able to go to Seattle to L.A. because his wife,
Yep.
or whatever. He's like, no more. I'm done.
Done.
Yeah.
I'll get on a jet. So I'll get on a jet.
Right.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I hope it's not for her. I hope it's for what you said. I hope it's for our safety in the future and to possibly help these families.
I
mean,
think that's the only thing I can think of. Why
and
they
I
would
don't
do
know
it.
if the families kind of came to Vanessa and said, "Hey, look, we got to go after this company because we need support for our loss."
Yep.
And then she probably said, "I'll take care of that." I don't know.
It
or
could
her
also
people did.
It could also be I mean, she's grieving. She lost a husband and a
Right,
daughter, right?
right.
So that's part of the grieving process. You go through the stages, right? And one of them's anger, right? So she could be, I mean, obviously she's going to be upset and pissed off about it, and that might be just a knee jerk. But I think it's more of taking care of the other families and maybe, doing something for the industry and changing the way that the private travel is is
one of
handled.
the things that came up to me yesterday as I was watching this thing, right? The one thing that popped into my mind is she now in a situation where she can't even go to the grocery store? Like, she can't pop out in public? Like, can she? Or
I think where she lives, I think she can.
okay.
I mean, if
Right, and she's Newport Coast. She can go
Newport
down to
Coast,
the
right.
local grocery store. Or whatever.
she's not the richest. She's not the most famous.
Right.
But obviously, right now, everyone knows who she is.
Right.
But I think the environment there is that she sort of blends in. Mm-hmm. And I think that people respect. Because they're all high profile people, right? So I
Right.
think they respect that.
I hope so, because I'd hate for her to have to be just can't get out of the house, right? So
Yeah, that's not good. Clippers bombed
Who?
Memphis-
Clifford? What? No.
bombed Memphis last night. We'll see how the Lakers handle that team tonight. Yeah, the Clippers are just not.
yeah, the Lakers have Memphis. They don't have the.
No, I think they have the Pelicans.
No, they have.
I'm almost positive they have the
Well, if I
Pelicans.
had my computer that your son didn't give to me, I could look that up.
I thought they played
They play Memphis, I think,
Memphis.
because they stayed in town.
Pelicans tonight.
Really?
Sorry, 7 p.m.
Okay, TNT.
She quick draw.
That's
TNT.
1-0.
All right, switching gears to
Pelicans, 7 p.m.
switching gears to the never-ending Houston sign stealing fiasco.
Now you're in my comfort zone.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
I don't.
I saw some lady at the spring training complex, and she was actually
Let's start hitting the.
right. Here comes the slider. One of the ladies that was working the spring training game at the complex, and she was taking away the signs from the fans that were too big.
yeah.
And they were saying, "Oh, there they are. The
They're
Astros are stealing signs again."
Yeah.
Well, I actually heard that when they played their first road game, they confiscated banners and signs
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
from the people
and then,
coming in.
And then Altuve got hit, but it was like a little
Well, that was
curveball on
just-
the
He got
on the
dosed.
foot.
Yeah.
The thing that, like I said before, if our wonderful commissioner had, put his foot down and done what he should have done, this is a non-issue.
Major League Players Association is a very, very powerful union. That's
Oh,
all I
yeah.
got to say.
Yeah.
So that would have been strung out. This is going to be, we're going to see at the beginning of the season. We might see it in the playoffs if they make the playoffs, but it's going to play. It's going to run its course. Guys are going to get dosed. And fans are going to have a chance to yell at the players and all that, but it'll go away. If he had to go through the Players Association, this thing will be dragged out, for years to come. Because they are so powerful.
I tell you right now being a player yourself, right? Players Association, I totally agree. It's the strongest of all the leagues, right?
Right.
But I think Manfred has lost all respect from every single baseball player.
100% agree.
And I guarantee you it's even with the Houston Astros. Like, even though he got them all immunity, they have no respect for this guy. I think he's soft. I think he's gutless. I don't think he has any huevos, rancheros.
Remember, though, John, he is an employee of the owners.
I totally agree.
Right? So the owners are like, this is going to blow over. They don't want to lose players. They don't want to. They still have a solid organization.
But we talked. Vinny and I we talked about it last week, right? So you're thinking, oh, maybe he's using this for the agreement that they have to come together with down the road. He goes, well, I think that the Players Association is going to say you're so soft, and we're not going to take anything that you're wanting to do.
Right.
Like, they're going to fight him on this.
The other guy that's
I don't
soft,
think this whole
though,
giving them immunity is going to help them in this next contract dispute.
Where's Tony Clark?
Yeah, he's been quiet.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Haven't
the
heard much
invisible
out of
man.
him.
No.
Right? He's not saying anything. So Manfred, yeah, of course, but he's in a tough spot. There's a lot of things I think he should have done, but I think Tony Clark should have stepped up and said, "Hey, I'm representing the bulk of the players, and you guys cheated, and we should take a stand here."
So I guess when you look at the owners, right? You look at the whole owners, and you look at, say, the NFL owners. Jerry Jones has a lot of power,
Sure.
right? He has a lot of power. Does Crane have a lot of power? Is that why he's given his team immunity on this whole deal? Is because Crane is maybe one of the top 6 or 7 owners that has a lot to say in those meetings, and said maybe, hey, Manfred, I was very big on getting you this job. Like, we don't know. It could be a lot of stuff under the table, right? I don't know about that.
He was the poster boy for ownership, right? I mean, they lost 100 games, like 7 years in a
Right.
row, and all of a sudden they rebuilt, the natural way, or the organic way, and they drafted all these great guys, and so he was the poster boy.
But after you look at all the conversations, right, you're like, hey, here's 2 things that I learned in the last month. Crane and Manfred should never be in front of a microphone.
Right.
They're terrible.
Well, they're
Like, they should have their own
Oh,
speakers.
Crane should. I mean,
Crane
I would
was
even
a
put him.
joke.
Oh,
He's a joke,
goodness.
He was a joke, right?
Yeah.
And Manfred was right behind him.
Yeah.
Right?
he makes a statement, and the writer questions. I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. You just said it 2 minutes
Yeah.
ago. What do you mean you didn't say it,
So
right?
I don't know if you guys heard this this week, but this was an absolute gem, and this is it's sort of a side note, but this is why Madden is such a great coach, right? So he makes a statement, hey, I'm having a meeting with the Angels, and we are not going to throw at Astros, and we are going to, we're just going to play hard-nosed baseball, da-da-da-da-da. So what he did is he gave his pitchers a reason that they can throw inside and not get in trouble, right? Because, hey, we already talked about it. We're not throwing at these guys, right? He took all of his pitchers, if they're throwing inside, they're not going to get warnings, right? Because we already talked about it. We clarified it. We're not throwing at people, right? We're just going to use both sides of the plate. So great move by Madden to go out there, make that statement, and sort of take care of his pitchers.
Yeah, but you could also look at the statistics, and all of a sudden a guy gets beaned. He go get Dusty. Sorry, we were 29th in throwing strikes last year.
Right, yeah.
So we struggle to find the plate anyways.
Right.
Meet Newt LaRouche over
Right,
here.
exactly.
And by the way, if I was you, I'd duck over there on the on-deck side.
Don't dig in. Holy cow.
Right, exactly. That's where they're gonna. Castro's gonna look at him and go, I got no clue where it's going,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, they really. To be honest, I'll set up outside, but you might want to.
Right.
You might want to rub your shoulder right now because something might be coming your way.
There were some posts on some social media last week that Some of these players have already received death threats.
Oh,
that's
that's just crazy. That's what psychos are. That's what these people do. I've heard a rumor about like GoFundMe pages for Houston Astros baseball that if somebody jumps on the field to go after a player that maybe pitched at somebody, that this GoFundMe page will actually get them out of jail. Like there's a lot of craziness.
That's keyboard brave, right?
But I'll tell you what Manfred has done. Right, Manfred has actually done a deal where he's going to have to probably on away games have to heighten security in hotels where the Astros are staying.
That's exactly
and then he's going to have
right.
to pay it. Now, is Crane going to have to pay for that? Or is I think because he's given them immunity, I think Major League Baseball should pay for that.
Right.
Like that's what's going to have to happen. You're absolutely right. You can guarantee it. I mean, I got a good friend that works for the Astros, and I'm not going to go visit him at the hotel. There's no chance. Like trying to get through that whole debacle is going to be insane. Like it's craziness. And
Right.
And so. But that was all set up by Manfred, giving these guys immunity.
I actually think
it doesn't shock me that
He can control the players, but he can't control the people.
Right, exactly. But if he would have done something at the very beginning and took the trophy away and did some stuff like that and kind of, put his foot down, maybe it might have silenced this.
I think he should have taken away the trophy, right? And I think, drastically, this is a stain that's never going to go away, right? I think that he should have gone as far as saying, Crane, you're now no longer the owner. You're going to have to sell this. You're going to, or Houston's going to have to,
or sit down for a year.
Right. You're going to, you have to be away for the game for a year. It's like they did with, Donald Sterling.
Steinbrenner got spent 2 years. Marge Schott.
Right.
Racial remarks 1 year.
I think they should have, taken a really tough stance on this to prevent this from ever happening again. But one thing, is I think it's a lot more prevalent than just Astros and the Boston Red Sox. I think you're going to find Yankees. I think you're going to find the Dodgers. I think you're going to find a lot of teams that have some sort of system rigged so they know what the pitches are.
Well, and that's a great point because I thought there would have been more voices of ownership that kind of went to Manfred and said, dude, you got to do something with this guy.
Right.
Like, that's not right, right? So you probably wouldn't have heard that out of Boston, and maybe somebody else is doing it, right? But I'm surprised that there's not some maybe powerful ownership that's out there, Artie Moreno, or I don't know who the power owners are in baseball.
It's Steinbrenner, right? Steinbrenner's
or Cashman, right? Or whoever it is, and Steinbrenner, right? And said, hey, look, we've got to, we've done this to these other these other owners before. You got to put your foot down. Why didn't we hear more of that?
Do you know why? Because they're saying, focus over there. There's nothing to see here, right?
So we actually, by saying that with Boston, I wrote down some dates here. May 22nd is going to be the Cheater Series. That's where Boston plays Houston.
Oh, God.
Right?
That'd be great.
The Cheater Series, right? I'm curious to see.
Where is that? Is that in Houston?
It's that is in Houston.
Good,
I think it is in Houston. Yeah,
that's where they do their best.
Right.
June 2nd and 3rd, Houston is at the Mets. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a bunch of Yankee fans that go to that game.
Well, where do they go to the Yankees?
Yeah, you ready for this? That doesn't happen until September 21st.
The first time?
Yeah, the only time.
Because
they end the season pretty much in New York. So they're going to have now, like, this could be a situation where maybe the Astros are out of it and they're like, we don't need to send anybody there. Right? But because I'll tell you right now, the Yankees are going to be in it, right? They're loaded, right?
Well,
not until today.
They're dwindling down.
Severino's
out.
Yeah.
For how long?
For the year. Tommy John.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Yeah. Paxton's out for the first, portion of the season.
And other guy that got suspended for 80 games.
Yeah.
What's the name? Their top guy.
Jermaine? No.
Jermaine.
Yeah.
Jermaine.
They've got Garrett Cole, right? But he can only pitch once every 5 days.
They got J.J. Happ, right? Is the
right.
other one.
J.J. Happ and
so I don't know. But
Tanaka.
But they got a bunch of people that can swing the bats too. So, but that's not till September 21st.
That's
right.
And that's what I'm saying. Is it going to be dwindled down by then?
Or it's going to be in fuego.
Or it's going to be like battling for position and
But
and by the way, September 21st, some of these guys will be back by then, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You never know.
Except for obviously the Tommy John. But
yeah.
The other thing that the other thing that they're going to have to do is he's with Oakland, right?
Friars.
Friars. So I guarantee you, Major League Baseball is going to have to increase security there for Oakland when they're in Houston. Because if you're telling me these Houston fans are going nuts,
Well, it's not going to be the Houston fans going nuts, right? Because they all think
well,
nothing,
they're saying, well, he's the one that voiced his opinion on
Whistleblower.
everything,
right.
right? So,
Yeah.
you know, that there's
But-
some dates there that are going to be really kind of fun. And,
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yeah.
The best date is going to be opening day for the Angels, right?
Exactly.
That is a game that's going to be the most watched game in the history of baseball, right? Around the world, people
You
are
mean
going to
down there, up here,
be
down
here.
there?
They start out here.
No,
No, they start in Texas.
we start in Houston, but then our opening day is against
Oh,
Houston.
Against
okay, there you
Houston.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, and this is where the Pantone 294 group, the Angels have committed to sell over 200 to 300 tickets per game. The place is going to be blue.
Well, you know, they sold standing room only tickets.
Oh.
So it is actually, it's going to be packed to the gills.
Yeah.
Oh, the Angels for opening day, they sold
Yeah.
standing room.
Yeah.
So I mean, and what's going to happen when Haney doesn't throw at somebody, right? Or whoever's.
And he comes off the mound, everybody boos him.
Everyone wants to either see the Angels blow them out or every Astro get dust.
And that's where Manfred comes out. You're going to get fined if you throw at him. Like you're going to get fined. And so, you know, there's going to be a point where, and you know this, you know, there's going to be multiple guys that go, "I got your back, bro. You know, I got your back. Just you got his back, I got your back. Like
Right.
how much? Okay, so if it's $5,000 or whatever, we'll throw all $1,000 in a piece. Like
Right.
you know, but you have to do that to get respect out of your ball players, right?
Sure. Yeah, your team.
So, I'd lead off with Middleton, and I'd just throw it 95 in his back, and then
Right.
don't get thrown out. We'll have Haney ready to go in the bullpen.
Right.
Like it's just we're gonna have what they do last year.
The openers?
The openers. We'll have openers.
Yeah.
You know.
It's going to be ironic that the pitchers that hit the batters are going to get fined more than the batters that cheated and used the system to gain an advantage.
Yeah. I would love, this is what I love, I would love for somebody to throw it in their back, like in Altuve, right? He doesn't run the mound, and then chirp at him the whole way up. You cheater, you're a cheater, and just chirp at him all the way up.
I can't wait to see the chants in the stands, right? Cheater.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
Go to Boston, have these guys have a few drinks, and then it's over, right?
Yeah.
Or Yankees, for God's
Yankees.
sake.
Yeah, cheater.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Well, because Boston can't call them cheaters
Right.
because they're cheaters too.
Right. It'll be-
I would love to be the fly on the wall right when David Price and Mookie Betts went right into that you know, we need to go behind the scenes here. Like, what
need
the
to
hell is
talk.
going
Yeah.
on? Yeah.
when are we going to hear something on the Boston thing? What's the hold
That
up
was
there?
supposed to be. They were supposed to release something last week. So
I
I'm
know.
guessing
What's the
this
holdup?
week.
Yeah, so that's the whole like, you know, it's still on the Astros, and the Astros can't wait for somebody to start talking about Boston. You know,
Yeah, the Astros are the only fans of coronavirus right now.
Right.
You know, they're the only
Yeah.
ones that want something else to talk about other than them cheating.
Oh man. If Friars got a pretty good reception his first spring start over in Arizona. He was warmly received. Pitched a couple of scoreless innings, so that's nice.
You know, he had filed the A's had filed a complaint back in 2017 to Major League Baseball about the suspicion that the Astros were stealing signs.
Really?
So this is something Major League Baseball sat on until Friars came and talked to the Athletic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, so it's not like he just came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, you know, these guys are."
Why wouldn't they do something if they could at least investigate? If they
Then they did. They'd put a memo out. Hey, you will not use any electronic devices to gain an advantage or whatever.
that did a lot of good.
So that was an internal thing until Fires talked to the newspaper and the guy at the Athletic, you know, let the cat out of the bag.
Dodgers, Angels, any? I think Rendon had a couple of singles and drove in a run.
Yeah, 2 for 2 with an RBI. Ward was the big guy of the day.
Oh,
3
yeah.
for 3 with
Ward.
3 RBIs.
Yeah.
Home run, triple.
Bundy goes 2 with 4 strikeouts.
Four strikeouts in 2 innings.
So yeah, it's
That lineup for the Angels is scary.
yeah, but you're gonna have
Everyone-
to win games 11-10 and 9-8, or win's a win,
right? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But I think that, I mean, you talk about with the Yankees, right, losing 2 starters and whatever. and they're loaded offensively as well. It'd be great to watch, right? I mean, it's going to be the Angels are going to be stacked on the offense.
Angels got to worry about more of their division than anything else, right? They got to worry about the Astros and the A's. So,
Yeah.
That's who you got to worry about. I thought it was great. I read it. Or I don't know if you read it on Sunday in the Register. The new pitching coach for the Angels. He says, he goes, what are you going to focus on this spring training? He goes, it's real simple. We're going to focus on throwing strikes.
We're going to throw strikes. This is a new...
Because we were 29th in throwing strikes last year. Right. We're going to throw strikes. So that's what we're going to focus on, throwing strikes.
It's right back to basics. Get ahead, stay ahead, right?
Yeah, right. Throw a strike, make them ground out, make them fly out. Just don't serve it up.
There was a chart that I sent over to my boys the other day about the count and what the average was of a batter, right-handed batter, left-handed batter. 0-2 count. It's like a 163 batting average for lefties and righties both. I mean, it's simple, right? It's the same thing since 18 whatever. Yeah. You get ahead, throw strikes, get 1-2, 0-2, and you've got the advantage. But if you're always pitching from behind, you're always pitching 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, you're going to get shelled, right? Because it's you got to get something across.
I've never seen the point of wasting an 0-2 pitch.
I'd never seen it either.
I remember back in the day when Jim Palmer was throwing the ball around, he said, no, if I'm 0-2, I'm going to get 0-3.
Right.
I mean, what's the point of
especially
throwing a
now
ball?
with pitch counts being so sensitive, right? These guys
throw
are so
something
soft.
outside that nobody's going to swing at anyway. What's the point?
If you can throw 2 by him, go ahead and throw the third one by
Exactly.
him. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe I should be the pitching coach.
John, the Ducks were quite active.
Trader Jack McKeon actually came in and started doing some work for the Ducks.
A lot of speed, a lot of.
But I was at the game on Sunday actually,
okay.
Against the Vegas Knights, and I was sitting with a friend, and I just looked at him and I said, "He's probably gone. He's probably gone." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "It's a week away, and they're going to start unloading, right?" And he goes, "Well, who do you think it's going to be?" And I go, "Nick Ritchie." I said, Nick Ritchie is one that would, and what do you know? And all of a sudden I get the text message the next morning. Yeah. Well, you were right. And I'm like, well, it's just a good guess, right? Yeah. So, Ritchie to Boston, Shore to Columbus, Holzer to Nashville, Grant went to for a fourth round, and Kase to Boston. All in a nutshell, it was we need to get skillful players that are fast.
We need to get fast and young.
Yeah, fast and young and skillful,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the big thing was we don't score goals and we're terrible on the power play. We have goalies, but they can only do so much, right? So that's kind of their mindset. Yes, we're going to dump and go, and we're going to build, and we're going to put together the team that this guy wants to coach, right?
Exactly.
And we're going to get skillful because what I've noticed in the last 5 years, that whole fighting thing is
it's more of a European style hockey, right?
It's all
you got to be fast, you got to be wide, you got to good passing,
and you got to be able to skate and handle the stick. So that's the direction that the Ducks wanted to go, and that I think there's a lot of Knights fans on a Sunday night in Anaheim. I was surprised, but it's just we're looking at the future here. I wonder how Getzlaf's doing with this, right? He's still the centerpiece of the whole thing.
I think his days are numbered.
Oh yeah,
they have to be, right?
Yeah.
They have to be. I mean, right?
It's a dinosaur,
right? Or if he's just going to be a guy that says, "I love Southern California. I'll hang it out here. I'm done when I'm done," right? He still can pass the puck like no other, right? He doesn't score anymore.
But he brings a lot to the table as far as having young guys around and teaching them how to...
No doubt.
Right. Work ethic and how to get,
And if he accepts that, he accepts it, right? And that's what the Ducks need. Like, hey, look, we'd love you to finish off your career here and be kind of a mentor to these kids. Or he might say, screw this, I need to go to Pittsburgh, man. I want to win. Or
one last chance, right?
Right. So, or he's just like, hey, I love Coto de Casa. I love being a member at Big Canyon and, playing golf and playing hockey. So, but you're right. The years have to be numbered.
Sure.
But, it's they had to get goal scorers,
Yeah,
and they need to get better.
They lost
there,
the game the
so.
other night, 1-0.
Yeah,
Right.
It was funny because my buddy's like, he wakes up really early like I do, and he's like, a Sunday night at 7:00, right? And we're like, geez. He goes, let's get out here. I'm like, okay. By the time I got home, it was I checked when I parked my car, it was 5-4. I got up to the room, it was 5-5, and when I laid in bed, we'd lost in overtime. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I texted him, I go, well, that was quick. He goes, yeah, no kidding. So, but again, that's what I see the Ducks doing is just getting more skillful, more quicker. And
Right.
and dumping salaries and stuff like that. And,
Well, they weren't going anywhere this year anyway.
No,
they might as well
no.
look to the future.
They were fighting for the first spot in the
Exactly.
draft, right? So now they're number 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can't
And
be.
they got a first rounder from Boston,
Right.
But it's at the
And
very
they-
bottom, right? It's going to be like 30th
still.
or whatever, but
Still.
so that's good. And then they
got a 4th rounder too, right?
They got a 4th rounder, yep, for Grant,
Right.
And then the other one was, let me see here, I got it here. The Kase trade, the Bacchus kid. They don't have to pay for all that salary.
Right.
Boston's going to take half of that. But here's the other thing that was quite interesting: the most trades ever in NHL history. 32 trades the other day by the end of the deadline.
wow.
Yeah, so beat it by 1. So that was
Hockey's
since,
coming up to speed.
since 2010.
That's pretty good.
So,
Hey, did
yeah.
you see the goalie that came off the Zamboni for the Hurricanes?
Oh, I thought it was great. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, I don't know
40
if you want to talk
40
about it.
go ahead.
40-year-old guy. He is the backup goalie. So what happens, I guess there's in the building, right? And
Right, it's an emergency goalie
that can
for
go to
either team.
Either team
in
right?
the building.
Right? So he has actually been an AHL goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs
Right.
back in the day. So he is the Zamboni driver. Well, he was the Zamboni driver for the AHL team. He's actually filled in as a Zamboni driver for the Toronto Maple Leafs, right?
Okay.
But now he is he runs a business, hockey business, some type of hockey business.
Right.
So first guy gets nailed. He's out, right? For the Hurricanes.
Right.
The
right?
Hurricanes, yeah.
So the Hurricanes.
In Toronto.
In Toronto, right? First guy gets out. And all of a sudden, his phone starts blowing up. He goes, "Are you stretching yet?" And they're like, "What?" You're like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Dude, you got a guy that's going out on a stretcher. Like, he's done. Like, So he's like, "You might want to." So all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, you might want to go just put on half your gear," right? All of a sudden, puck gets loose. The goalie goes out to try to meet the offenseman. Boom, done. He's out.
First period.
No. Beginning of the second
Second
period.
period. There we go. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they're putting airs on the back of a jersey, right? Heat sealing it, going, "Here you go, kid," right?
You're in.
You're in. So he puts him in. Goal! Like first 2 shots from Toronto, but it was great. It's the Hurricanes. Like, you're okay. Just hang in there, right? So all of a sudden they go in, finish the second period, come out. He shuts them out, and they win 6-4.
There you go.
He gets the win.
He gets the win.
He does not get $500. He was on the Dan Patrick show. He goes, "I get no money." He goes, "I got my jersey." And he goes, "I guarantee you, the Hurricanes will fly you in there and they'll let you drive around the Zamboni."
Right. And he's going to sell the rights to a story, obviously. What a great story. That's a Disney story,
Oh,
right?
it's a Disney story, yeah.
Yeah.
So back to work the next day, and
What a great story, though.
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good story.
yeah, I thought that was great. Yeah,
That is good.
So good point.
He said that he went in between periods, right? And he told the guys, "Okay, now I'm ready, so I can go." And he was thinking about, because he knows the Toronto team so well. He says, "I was expecting whoever to go low, low blocker or whatever, but he went high stick." And he's like, "Doggone it, man! I've been watching you, and I've been actually, been watching this team so long. I thought I knew everything, but yeah."
Yeah, and he had all his buddies going. They're like sitting there going. There was 2 of his close friends at the game. "Dude, he's in the game!"
Yeah.
They're videotaping him, and it was a great story. Yeah. So they actually thought that he gets it's like a $500 stipend or whatever, and he goes, "No, nobody ever talked about giving me any money." he goes, "I got a jersey." And he goes, "Well, let me tell you, the Hurricanes will do something for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully." So
That's funny. That's funny.
you know.
Should mention, I guess, that the Wildcats won their first XFL game since we've mentioned them the last 2 weeks when they've been buried. 39-9. Had 12,000 screaming fans at Carson.
That's better than the Los
Yeah.
Angeles Chargers have done, right?
Well, at least all
Well,
those.
no, they fill it out. They just don't have the fans.
Yeah,
for
all
them.
these
Yeah.
fans
Right.
This is 12,000 fans for the
home team.
When we went to the Vikings at the Chargers, right? It was 95% Viking fans.
Oh, yeah.
They were skull chanting the whole time,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Skull,
yeah,
you know, I
yeah,
mean, it was
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
me.
yeah, for you, yeah. Pittsburgh's that way.
Oakland,
Raiders.
Oakland,
obviously.
Kansas City, Denver. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Like I said on this podcast, they need to go to London. They just need to go to London. And by the way, Jacksonville. You hear what Jacksonville's going to? They're promoting that they're going to play more than 2 or 3 games in London next year, I think, or the year after.
Jacksonville?
Yeah,
Jacksonville's one of those teams that they're possibly thinking about sending them to London.
Yeah.
And because they have more support there than they do in Jacksonville.
That's terrible
Yeah.
travel.
So what they would do? No. What they would do is they would do 2 home games back to back. So they would go over, have a home game or have a game. They would stay, and then the next team would come in and play them.
Okay.
Definite advantage for Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I think the owner's very, very interested. I talked to some guys about this that are from London. He says they sell their tickets out in 5 minutes, 80,000 tickets in 5 minutes.
Really?
And I go, what is the selling point? And these guys go, well, when we go to a Premier Soccer League game, I go, yeah. He goes, you can't buy beer. Football game, you can buy beer. He goes, they were actually sold out of beer by the middle of the third period, third quarter. I go, what? He goes, oh yeah, these people, they're getting it, they're understanding, they're rah, but it's all about like, I can go in and watch a sport and drink beer, I'm in. Yeah. So 80,000, they sold out in 5 minutes. It was crazy.
So going back to the XFL, so I've been watching the games. The games are great. I love some of the rule changes.
You want to be that cameraman behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. But I love the kickoff. Right?
That's great.
I think that NFL is going to adapt.
They're probably
that.
going to adapt to that.
Yeah,
I like the kickoff. I like the clock in between. It's 25 seconds instead of 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love it. It's a fast paced game. The multiple shifts. I mean, there's a lot of great things that they brought to light. It's almost like they did before with the XFL.
I'm still struggling with the 1 point, 2 point, 3 point thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm struggling.
Being
with
a Viking fan, I love not having a kicker.
right. Yeah.
Kicking wide left. So
Well, the Chargers would like that too.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I love it that you can score 9 points. I mean it keeps all the games in play. The last
How
drive.
about the over under? You got the over under down there, and the
Right.
spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a betting sport.
Yeah, they've got some
and
good
I
ideas.
said this in the past. So like, if the NFL said, "Hey, you want to try this?" They're like, "Sure, let's try it." Like they're open to anything.
Sure.
And that's what I like is they're willing to work with the NFL on that.
Well, the other thing that that I've been hearing is that the NFL is looking at a strike, right?
Yeah.
Because of the 17 game
CBA,
that they're trying
that's
to
right.
add that 17th game.
That's right.
If the NFL strikes, the XFL cashes in, right?
Well, I mean, they would have to try to bring these guys back to play another kind of season because they would, they're going to finich when.
Well, I know, but
I'll tell you this much: bringing up this contract, right? Is I got a gut feeling that it might happen as a strike because
Could be.
I just don't see these players signing a 10-year deal. That's
No.
a decade. Like,
That's
you know
ridiculous.
what it is the owners are trying to beg them to bite on this thing. So if they do, they can go right to the networks and go, "We got a 10-year deal. Let's start talking money
no
now."
labor dispute.
Right? Yeah,
that's
let's
right.
go.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I mean, I saw J.J. Watt come out and say, "No way." Sherman, no way. Like, I think
You
there's
have to be leery when the owners are pushing it so hard,
Right.
It's got to be so lopsided that they're saying yes, because there's no way that it should be that, and they're trying to push down the players' throats.
And they're doing a cap on the 17th game.
Right.
So if you
$250K.
make $1 million a game, you're only going to make $250,000 for that 17th game.
I mean, I would do it.
Yeah.
But
So you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers makes $1.2 million a game. Let's just say,
How
right?
can you do that?
That's
what
in,
they said.
That's in the
17th
contract.
game would be capped at
It's $250,000.
max 250.
So there's a lot of these big time guys are like
Players aren't going to buy that.
no.
They're
We're going to
gonna
see
buy-
how strong this players' association is.
Yeah, they're not
Right.
going to buy that.
10 years is a big point, though.
I mean,
huge.
I have no problem probably dealing with the agreement, but I would come back and go 5 years. I wouldn't sign a 10-year deal. No
Well,
way.
you would do a Boris contract, right? It's a 10-year deal, but you can opt out after one, right?
Oh, by the way, I saw before I came in here, I don't know if you got it on your deal, that going back to the Kobe Bryant situation where the baseball, the agent they called the baseball agent, that was Boris, and Boris has granted that kid a internship.
It's the daughter.
The daughter, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Brian Antebelli.
Yeah. So he's going to grant that internship with
great.
Boris.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
John, do you want to talk about Patrick Reed?
The most hated golfer, and just sticks it right at him, right? What was interesting is I think it was on the a podcast actually, but Peter Kostis came out and called him a cheater, and said that he physically saw him cheating 4 times. Now I've heard it's been.
Was he banging a trash can? Or?
No, he was actually ball was in the rough, and then he would grab a club and he put it down. And then he, that's not going to work. And he grabbed a club and he put it down again. So he's improving the lie behind his ball in the rough.
Right.
And then he goes, nah, that's not it. Let me grab another one. He puts it down, and all of a sudden the 4th one he's hitting 3-wood.
Right.
So Costas comes out and says that on a podcast, and Costas couldn't say that probably on the network because some of the stuff that you can't actually say because it's not on television. Right. There was a couple phone calls to the Golf Channel from agents, from Patrick Reed's agent, saying, you keep talking about this, we're going to sue you, right? So then that's when NBC and the Golf Channel kind of took a step back and stopped talking about his Patrick Reed and cheating. But then Costas went on Hank Haney's podcast and just, I don't have a job anymore. I'm no longer with CBS, blah, blah, blah. And so there was a good quote that came out as a picture of Patrick Reed, and it said, I wonder if Peter Kostis knows what my bank account looks like today, or something like that. It was like right back at you. So, he's a great player. No doubt about it, he's a great player, but got to be one of the most hated guys out there.
Which probably going to work for him, right? Because now he's a draw.
Well, just, what the deal is, he feeds off that energy, right? He feeds off of it.
Yeah.
So. But they start the Florida Swing now. So
that's right.
They go to Jack Nicklaus's place for the Honda, and probably one of the harder golf courses they'll see all year because of the wind swirling, water everywhere. They got the bear trap, which is 15 through 17, which is just, you've just got to play your golf ball and hold on for the ride and get through it. So 17 there is a par 3 where guys are sitting on tee boxes, and because they have stands all around, they can't feel the wind, but they're seeing the flag moving. So it's really second guesses them, and the water just eats up golf balls, and it's a great hole. It's a great hole to watch the finish. So should be fun.
I just want to make a quick mention of the UCLA basketball team, which has been silent for a long time. Is it Cronin? He's doing a great job with the defense.
Yeah, the guy that came from Cincinnati. And I think these kids are learning how to play defense.
They've won 9 of their last 11. They're in the hunt for the Pac-12 title.
They beat Colorado last night, right?
2 nights. Yeah,
2 nights.
2 nights ago. Yeah.
Well, they're ASU still leading at 10-4, but Colorado, Oregon, and the Bruins are 10-5.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the Bruins have a kind of an advantage. They've got to beat Arizona. They got to sweep. They have to beat Arizona and Arizona State, but they have them both here. Then they would have to win at USC. So they have to sweep their last 3 games, but they don't leave L.A. So that would they'd have to do that to even have a chance. It's just so tight. But to at least be in the talking, the conversation is something that hasn't happened.
We got a barn burner overtime.
What?
Wake Forest is leading Duke 97-96. When do they play?
The Bruins play on Thursday against Arizona State at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So it's nice to see, a little bit of.
I'd like to see, for Guerrero's sake, something positive happen at UCLA.
Yeah,
baseball's doing well. I think they're in the top 3 or top 5 right now. Good, solid program with Savage there, but it'd be nice for
him to go out on a high note.
To go out on something high because he's been getting,
he's been hammered.
Snot beat out of him lately. So
I'm surprised he's still there.
Well, he's there until July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and he's gone.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? We are out.
Peace.